Castro's Golden Boy, El Comandantico. This is the true story of a small, 12-year-old boy with reddish hair that was taken by destiny to become a military leader at such a very young age, and becoming the right arm of Fidel Castro and the organizer for the new army for the future of the revolution. He was feared and yet completely trusted by all the other leaders of the revolution. His position gave him wide access to the regime's deepest secrets, and so he discovered the real ideological roots that Castro intended to bring to the Cuban Revolution. He then became the most feared master spy by the Cuban Communist government and all its leaders during the 60s, his identity remaining unknown. For over 10 years, he managed to avoid detection and also the most sophisticated traps set for him by not only the G2 Cuban intelligence, but also from the advisors from the Soviet KGB that were already on the island, training the Cuban youth in repressive intelligence techniques, providing the most sophisticated and advanced psychological methods to control the minds of the Cuban people and destroy any kind of opposition in that Caribbean island. This little red-headed, freckle-faced boy, the Comandantico, was codenamed by American intelligence as Jubater. He had already been trained by his uncle, the veteran master spy, Dr. Emilio de Marmol, a professor at the University of Havana in the island's capital, to be his successor in the fight in defense of democracy. That ideology now was at a very great risk from the communist ideas of Fidel Castro, his brother Raul, and Che Guevara. The threat was imminent. If this Marxist ideology was successful, the totalitarian regime would be in place. The little Julio Antonio de Marmol, the youngest spy in the history of the world, not only became a fantastic student, born with the natural psychological powers he was in the process of discovering, he managed to save the capitalist world from nuclear disaster by exposing the satanic ideas of the aspiring dictator who tried to create a nuclear conflict between the Soviet Union and the United States of America. He was able to prevent this by sending pictures of the missiles when they first arrived in Cuba, still in the shipping crates, that proved the intentions of the Castro team after the warships disembarked them on January 13, 1962, in the small port of Mariel in the province of Pinar del Rio. This became later called the October Crisis or the Cuban Missile Crisis. Several months later, after the United States government double-checked and corroborated that boy's information, the demand was made that the Soviet Union withdraw those dangerous nuclear weapons from the island. This is the story of the Lightning, a silent ghost.